into the physical aspects, I'll just talk briefly about this philosophical conversation that I had in a taxi with my dear friend and teacher, Narasimhan, M.A. Narasimhan. And he's actually a relative of Alwar. He's like an uncle, I think, an older, he's much older, he's 80. And so your personal habits and your discipline carry over hugely into how you sound when you teach. And like you and well, like me and every other human being, we can't see ourselves the way that other people see us. We're all trapped on the inside looking out. And we have kind of a blind spot. You could look at yourself in the mirror and say, oh, well, I have gray hair now or whatever. But you don't see your countenance and your expression the way that other people see you. And as you work on your own disciplines, that becomes brighter. And people respond to you differently. So if you can't be good all the time, try to be good while you're doing yoga. As David Williams said, try to be a yogi while you're doing yoga. Follow the yamas and niyamas. Maybe you like to smoke cigarettes and drink coffee and have beer and all kinds of things like that. Well, fine. That can be in your personal life. That's fine. But don't drag that personal life into your yoga teaching life. Do that crap at home. And while you're teaching, try to be disciplined. And in general, the cleaner and clearer you can be, the stronger your energy becomes. And so I was driving with Narasimhan in the taxi, and he turns to me and he said, babies cry to eat mud when they're little. And I was like, yeah, they do. I know, I have 4 of them. And I, what is it about me that made him want to have this conversation with me? Well, so what does the mother do when the baby's crying to eat mud, wants to eat dirt? I just saw Maya take a big handful of dirt and stick in her mouth the other day. Yesterday, in fact. Okay, this is a very real thing that happens. Well, she knows that there's no future in this behavior. And that if the child will do it a lot, of course, it's dangerous. But most mothers will say, well, if you really want to have that experience, okay, eat some dirt, here you go. As long as it doesn't have cat poop in it or something, I guess, it's not going to kill you. It'll be okay. And she also knows the medicines to deal with the illness that might, the tummy ache that can happen if you eat gravel or whatever. Okay, so that's a metaphor for how God sees us when we screw up. And we just want to indulge in all these different things. And eating mud, it's, everybody has that capacity to want to, be fascinated with all the different ways that we satiate our senses and enjoy our senses. And we try things that often at first aren't so nice. And then after a while, you really get into it. Like, the first time you ever smoke a cigarette, it's like, what is, oh my God, what is that? But, a couple of years later, you just can't wait to have that cigarette. So everything is like that, actually. So, and then Narasimhan carries on and he says, when you're 8 years old, you have your toys and they're so wonderful and you just think that they're the most incredible thing, right? But then when you're 15, you come back and you look at those same toys and you're like, what is this junk? It's just junk. I can't believe I was into that, And so you're not interested in those things anymore. And then when you are like 20 and you come back and look at the stuff that you were into when you were 15, same thing. What is this junk? I'm not interested in this junk anymore. So like that, you're allowed to continue evolving and growing through your life. And unfortunately, a lot of us get stuck as adults in a certain paradigm of smoking and drinking and coffee and sex and all the ways that we gratify our senses become like what adults do. And we think that as adults, this is what we should do, and that this is life, and that now that we're all grown up, we should enjoy those things. That's a very childish way of looking at it, actually. And so, you tell yourself, oh, Arjuna, can you not make that sound, please? We tell ourselves, I shouldn't do this. I'm going to try not to drink this coffee, or I'm going to try not to have cigarettes, or I'm not, whatever it is, we're like, okay, and then we go into all these like guilt because I really want that, and I shouldn't, but I want it. I guess I will, but but Narasimhan basically pointed out that from another perspective, it's all junk. You're allowed to just say, I don't need to eat mud. I already tried it. It's very gritty between my teeth, and it tastes kind of not so great. Because I do remember eating dirt, and I have gotten dirt in my mouth since, and I know what eating mud is like. I ate mud pies when I was a kid, and but do I need to experience that again? No, not really. I can let it be, and it's not a willpower thing. I'm just kind of done with it, right? All of it is junk. Be free. Be free. Jagadish. Jagadish means somebody who is completely free. They saw something that was richer and more beautiful and more clear than all of their sense habits and enjoyments. And, so in teaching beginners, in teaching period, finding a way to climb up out of the hole that we create for ourselves in our day-to-day life and find joy and find meaning that's beyond the gratification of the senses is a big, big, big deal. And you have your whole life to work on it. It's okay. Enjoy your coffee, have sex, smoke cigarettes, whatever it is that you like to do, that's fine. But if you do it enough, you'll be miserable. The end of all of those things is misery. And balance is the ideal way to approach all that. So the more balanced we are, the better our yoga classes go, the better our whole freaking life goes. And they're not different. All these things are tied together. So it's all junk. Just remember the metaphor. That helped me so much. I smile when I remember him talking about it. That, you can't, like the 15-year-old who's looking at his 8-year-old toys isn't tempted to go back into all that stuff. The 15-year-old isn't interested in eating mud either. He just, not so interesting. And you don't have to talk him out of it, right? Because it's just, he's over it. You can be like that with anything if you find the right mind space. And then you're just moving forward. And that is personal growth. And when that vibe is part of you, then it's infectious, and it spills over into your teaching and your students. And it's a long roundabout way of saying keep working on yourself and developing yourself and engaging in your own practices. And then that creates the magnetism in you that helps to build your opportunities to teach and share.